YG has got a very, very big problem on his hand, and it's not just Flacco exposing who he believes killed Drakeo the Ruler, but also the internet is now unraveling the true reasons for his beef with Drakeo the Ruler, and it is unfortunately much more complicated than you possibly could have imagined. It sounds like there is a lot more to the story than we thought, and this beef definitely got very, very out of hand. Now, I'm going to talk about some inside info that's been circulating for quite some time. Okay, I've heard a lot of the things that are going around that have been put out there without evidence. Okay, I've heard a lot of these things before. But, okay, now some of these things that I've heard offline are now making their way online. So I'm just going to give you my whole opinion on the whole situation. But this is definitely a bad day for YG. So here's what happened, okay? He dropped his new project, The Gentleman's Club. That's what he's calling it, okay? That's what he wanted to call it. That's how it's going. The Gentleman's Club 2026, okay? And track 7... let's just keep it real. This was an all-out diss towards Drakeo the Ruler. It was called We Know the Truth, and that was Drakeo's catchphrase, all right? You probably heard Drakeo say this a bunch of times, okay? We know the truth. Now, here's the thing. What did we know the truth mean? Well, I'll be real with you, okay? I'll be real with you. I think the truth is, all right, when Drakeo, this is just my opinion. All right, I don't want to get in trouble. My opinion is when Drakeo kept saying we know the truth, I think the truth is that Drakeo killed that guy from the Bloods. Okay, I don't know for sure. I don't know if he is false claiming, but in my opinion, when Drakeo kept saying we know the truth, when he beat those murder charges, the murder of Red Bull and his young homie Kells ended up going down for the murder of Red Bull, Drakeo ended up beating the charge, getting off with the death penalty, and then he popped out constantly saying his catchphrase, we know the truth, all right? It's a 2020 album and title track, okay? So YG dropping a song called We Know the Truth is low-key very disrespectful. Clearly, it's a song all about Drakeo the Ruler and his murder. But the reason Drakeo was running around saying we know the truth, in my opinion, all right, I think it's because the truth was he might have did that shit. He ain't alive no more, okay? But I think maybe he might have did that shit, killing an infamous blood and getting away with it. And rubbing it in YG's face for years. But that beef with YG was already going on before that. Okay? So look, there's little things popping up around here. Drakeo explains his slogan, we know the truth, but he never really explained it. Let's just see.
Help me understand. We know the truth. What are you referring to? What's the truth?
I'm the truth. That's just we know the truth. Like, then it go down to, everything, like me being in jail, everything I went through, all the people that got on when I was in jail. Just everybody know the truth. It's like when I got out, everybody like, oh yeah, like it's over for a lot of people. The real is here. I just like, we know the truth.
That's what I want to.
So look, it's a bunch of coded King Von type messages, bro. But this is my opinion. I think Drakeo killed that guy. I think we know the truth was him trying to say they killed that guy. You can crucify me, you can say I'm capping, you can say I'm snitching. He's not around. They're saying no snitching. We know the truth. That's just my opinion, all right? So look, we're going to dig deeper because there's a lot more stuff I'm going to tell you in this video that's crazy. I know YG not going to be happy about this right now, okay? So why am I even qualified to talk on this? Well, I did a documentary about three and a half years ago, done about 3.5 million views, The Life and Death of Drakeo the Ruler. I broke down the whole history, and I was one of the first people really calling out YG. I don't want to say YG's role in Drakeo's death because we don't know that for sure. We don't know that for sure. We know the truth. We don't know that for sure. We know the truth, but we don't know that for sure. But Flacco says he knows the truth. But YG had big problems with Drakeo, and he said in interviews he was dropping his own little King Von type hints of like, we don't do the rap beef, we coming to get you, all this type of stuff. Okay, so if you want to know everything that there possibly is to know about this, if you really want to know the truth, all right, go and watch this documentary. But in this documentary, I break down several very, very interesting things. I'm not going to rehash all of those things in this video, and there's some new information that's now coming out circulating around this, but I'm going to just tell you about a few different things in succession, and we're going to rewind back around, okay? But this video is extensive, all right? In this video, I get very, very deep into all the reasons that Drakeo popped off, how he got famous, okay, the murder of Red Bull, and all of the situations that ended up happening that led up to his death, his beef with YG, his beef with Inglewood. He basically was an absolute terror to the Bloods, okay, and he was deep beefing with a bunch of different people. So as you can see, the many chapters of this video, we talk about Drakeo coming up as a home invader. He was flu flamming. That was his whole thing. That was like a catchphrase for home invading, okay? Him getting into the rap game, taking over things. Him having this beef with this other rapper, RJ. The murder of Red Bull, this infamous blood who, you know what I'm saying? We know the truth. Hey, Drakeo beat the charges. His young shooter, Kells, didn't end up beating the charges. He went down for the murder. Drakeo gets out. He starts talking about we know the truth and terrorizing everybody, okay? Particularly YG. Now, I'm going to show you something in a minute that's going to blow your mind. But look, I'm just trying to think, like, how deep should I get in this video? Because I'm holding my tongue low-key because I actually do know the truth. But I don't even want to say too much. But look. So Red Bull gets killed, all right? Red Bull, close friend of Munchie B's. That's Red Bull on the left. You know, Drakeo and his crew end up running into Red Bull at a party, and they end up killing him. Now, it's kind of unclear exactly why or what. Why was everybody beefing? Why was they having all these problems? Why did this end up happening? But I'll tell you what. I'll show you a bit of the backstory from the documentary, and then I'll tell you more of what's actually going on.
History of their hood to a channel called... You'll be aware at this point that while Drakeo the Ruler doesn't claim an alliance to a specific LA gang set, he's got a lot of collaborators, friends, and affiliates who do claim gang sets associated with the neighborhood Crips. And one of these Crip-affiliated Stink Team members is Kells of the Rolling Hundreds. Kells would appear on the song Chunky Monkey with Drakeo and Ralphie on October the 25th, 2016. A track all about keeping a big gun, or as they call it, a chunky monkey, with Stink Team members dancing around in the music video wearing gorilla masks and toting chunky monkeys. But it would turn out that these chunky monkeys weren't just for showing off in the music video. It was clear that the Stink Team would need to protect themselves around this period, as according to a Fader article, the very month that this video was released, Drakeo, Ketchy, and Too Shitty of the Stink Team were all shot at in separate incidents. It's still unclear exactly why or who would want to kill the Stink Team, but their ongoing feuds with other Blood Gang associated rappers, and their close affiliation with various Crip sets, clearly hadn't done them any favours. Whilst Draco's ongoing rivalry with Athens Park Blood RJ was getting a lot of attention because of the music that they were making, it would actually be the neighborhood Crips' ongoing street war with the Inglewood family Gangsta Bloods that would ultimately bring tragedy to the Stink Team. The Inglewood family Gangsta Bloods, or IFGB, or simply Inglewood Family's Gang, IFG, are an LA blood set with a long and storied history. They mainly beef with neighborhood Crip gangs like the Rolling 60s and Rolling Hundreds, gang sets which the Stink Team apparently have close affiliations with. And in the streets, one of the...
But look, Draco's Stink Team wasn't necessarily a Crip set, but they was made up of a whole bunch of Crips that was home invading fools, right? Munchie B, obviously one of the most notorious Bloods from over Inglewood families. He is one of his closest friends, Red Bull, as you can see here on the left. And Red Bull ends up getting caught by the Stink Team members at a party, and he ends up getting killed, okay? So look, this just show you some of the alliances, some of the connections between these guys.
Ty, Mustard, YG, J305. So before they blew up, though, Chain Gang. All these LA-based rappers, we pretty much all partied together before they blew up, though. The boy Ty, Mustard.
Remember that. Mustard, YG. Remember Mustard being involved in this.
YG, J305.
So with the rivalry...
So Munchie B saying all the Inglewood family, all the Bloods used to party with these guys. YG, YG's a Blood. Mustard. What? Mustard! Okay. Kendrick's a Blood, by the way, too, if you want to get into that. Benny, that's a whole other thing, all right? This is going to be important because I didn't know some info that's now come out.
Between the Stink Team and DJ Mustard, YG, and RJ heating up off the back of diss tracks, you can see why there's a lot of interconnected reasons why the Bloods and the Stinks aren't going to get along. And to make matters worse, it would later emerge that Stink Team member Kells had an active feud with Red Bull, the Inglewood family Blood, who had appeared alongside Munchie B in that Street TV interview. Red Bull allegedly also had a serious reputation when it came to Inglewood gang politics, but sadly, Red Bull would eventually run into the Stink Team with deadly consequences. Because on Saturday, the 10th of December 2016, several members of the Stink Team, including Kells and Drakeo, were chilling at Draco's house. And it was here that Drakeo would see what was later described as a pay-for-entry pajama party advertised on Instagram, with Drakeo rallying the Stink Team to go from his place to the party, with plans for 17-year-old Crip affiliate Arlington Blue, aka AB, real name Jaden Boyd, planning to join the Stink Team en route. The whole crew would travel in a 5-car convoy to the party in Carson, around 15 minutes away from Draco's apartment, with the crew arriving to the area and parking their cars. At some point, Too Shitty from the Stink Team approaches Draco's car to tell him that members from Inglewood families are there, with Drakeo apparently suggesting at this point that the crew leave. However, within seconds, Red Bull from Inglewood, real name Davon Gregory, would walk past the Stink Team. This was a completely chance encounter, with Red Bull apparently being spotted at the wrong place in the wrong time by his opposition, with Kells and AB, the neighborhood Crips that were also in the Stink Team, who had an active feud with Red Bull and the Inglewood families, pulling pistols and opening fire as soon as they saw him. The shooting erupted at around 11:30 p.m, leaving 2 unrelated people injured, and Red Bull shot numerous times, sadly later losing his life.
Shots were fired at a birthday party in Carson. 3 men were hit and one of them has now died. The shooting happened just before midnight in the 100 block of West Victoria Street. The shootout was just in front of the building that housed the party. Deputies say as many as 100 people were attending what they describe as a pay-for-entry adult-themed party.
These women told me about...
So here's the thing, all right? Red Bull ends up getting killed. Kells ends up going down for murder. Okay, Drakeo gets bagged for murder. He's on the murder trial. He ends up getting away with it, right? He ends up beating the charges. There's a bunch of snitches. They raid them for a bunch of drugs. Drakeo ends up beating it, all right? And he returns. The return of Drakeo the Ruler, all right? So here's the thing. He returns and he gets into a giant beef with all of the Bloods. He disses all of Inglewood. He drops this song called Ingleweird, dissing the whole of Inglewood. So that's all Munchie B's lot. Now, YG is a different set of Bloods, all right? But it's all problems with Bloods, from RJ to YG, all of this stuff, okay? And as I was saying in the video, they're saying that the Young G Kells had an issue with Red Bull, but they all had issues. And really, okay, Drake, look, if you want to believe the rumors, we know the truth, that Drakeo might have actually been the shot caller and instigated that situation. We're never going to know, right? That's gone. That information has gone to the grave with him. But here's some things that you probably didn't know before Drakeo got killed. There was allegedly an incident in 2021 where, how can I don't want to be called out as a snitch, but somebody shot up Draco's car. Somebody shot up Draco's car. There was allegedly another incident where Drakeo caught YG, pulled a gun on him, and chased him around. Now, I'm going to show you some stuff. So look, I'm not gonna be this chief snitch in charge here. Okay, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna let Reddit do some telling for me, and I'm just gonna let you know what people been saying years ago on Reddit. Okay, so this is 4 years ago in Cali Bangin', which is the the OG Cali sub. So this is after Drakeo died, but people been for years putting this out there. Okay, it says the Drakeo YG beef was literally going crazy behind the scenes, and almost nobody knew about it. I did a whole documentary about it. But they went back and forth a bunch, right? This song, Hun Diddy Bop Bop. I'm going to tell you why this is relevant in a minute, and you're not going to believe it. Actually, you know what? Should I just tell him now? Should I just tell you now? I'll tell you in a minute. Let me read you some comments, but I'm going to tell you about... Nah, fuck it. I'll tell you now. So this song, Hun Diddy Bop Bop, all right? It says, throwback to YG trying to warn Drakeo about dissing him. And a few months after this interview clip, Drakeo dropped a song called Hun Diddy Bop Bop, which is a diss track where Drakeo basically claims that he had something to do with YG getting shot in the hip. 1 month after Drakeo released that song, he got killed. So here's YG warning Drakeo. All right, hang on. Don't tell me the video can't be played. Here we go.
I'm not finna be going out there doing no rap diss and shit, because like, if it's smoke, it's really smoke with us. We ain't playing, you know? So... like, I'm gonna tell the homies the same shit. Like, bro, I done told D3 that, like, we ain't doing none of that weird shit for nothing, for the rap. No, we not on none of that, nigga. We trying to make hits. We gonna move around, nigga, get rich, nigga, and have fun, nigga. All that rap beef and all that shit, we not rap beefing, we really beefing. The homies gonna get you. You know what I'm saying? So,
Okay. Let's not play the song, all right? I'll show you the lyrics. This is Hun Diddy Bop. All right? This is what Drakeo said. He was wiling out, just show up to the function with the scoreboard. Let's not forget, we know the truth, right? Red Bull got killed. Wiling out, just show up to the function with the scoreboard. Last time they showed up to the function, a man got killed. Man, these pussy M-words got me up in war mode. I ain't going back and forth with a cornball. Boy, this 40-ounce bounce like a porno. Pizza party, not delivery. This Giorno. I put 90 shots in his torso, or I'm finna put 90 shots in his torso. Caught him at the stop and go, lock and load, no warnings. He's a rapper, but I made his hip rock and roll. Cold Devil walking through hell with chinchillas on. They're gonna drop yellow liquor when they hear this song. Dog Eat Dog World, 44-year-old bulls barking. This gonna have the whole hood talking. I be with real killers, they don't send pop shots to sound like Hun Diddy Bop Bop. Mariachi drum made a dude cha-cha. Right? It's crazy he was talking this wild. Dissing on the net, all he heard was pop, pop. All right? Look, poof be gone, look, it's Houdini. I'm from the stink team, we don't do weenies. We'll be pulling through his stew if you don't state facts. All right? YG was shot in the hip outside of a recording studio in Studio City in 2015 with associates of Drakeo, or perhaps Drakeo himself, rumored to be behind the shooting. So he's taunting him. This is YG in the hospital after he got shot in the hip. All right? And then he's saying, I'll make him... It's crazy, really, that he was doing all of this. Y'all don't even know the extent of this, okay? So I can't play you the lyric, all right? But obviously, we know YG was shot in the studio, right? And then 1 month later...
And is reported dead after being stabbed at a concert in Exposition Parkland.
So look, all right? Throwback to YG trying to warn Draco about dissing him. He dropped that song Hun Diddy Bop Bop. Now that is insanity that he did that he actually said that he was willing to say that, okay? YG shot 3 times at LA recording studio. Rapper suffered non-life-threatening injuries described as very uncooperative at hospital by police. So it was that serious. He was shot 3 times in the hip at a Los Angeles recording studio, all right? Incident happened at 1:45 a.m. in Studio City. A friend of the Compton rapper drove to a nearby hospital. He was uncooperative. They saying this was Draco. Draco saying this was Draco. He a rapper, but I made his hip. He a rapper, but I made his hip. He said I, me, we, us, me, I. Draco shot YG. He said it. Ross is a snitch. Flacco's a snitch. No, you told on yourself. He said it. He's a rapper, but I made his hip rock and roll. Ain't too many people got shot in the hip. Like, there ain't too many people we can point to that was hips was rocking and rolling. Like, we got a picture of your hip shot. I'm sorry. I'm not belittling or making light of the situation, but like, this is what was going on, and Fools was rapping about it. This is on a song called So Cold I Do 'Em, all right, that Draco put out. This is insanity. So that's coming out, all right? We dropping that, and we're seeing YG shot at the studio multiple times. And saying, why did they even have beef in the first place? Now, here's where I'm going to get you, right? Here's where the homie's going to come and get you. Because remember I was talking about, let's not forget DJ Mustard. I didn't know this at the time. But apparently the whole beef started before all of that. Because Draco was supposed to sign with DJ Mustard, but then decided to stay independent. He said they started acting weird towards him after that and tried blackballing him in the industry. Basically, this shit snowballed into an all-out war between the Stink team, who got ties with the Crips, and the Inglewood Bloods. Draco chased YG around with a gun. Those are facts, lol. How can I do this without you lot saying I'm a snitch? Like, that's someone. I don't even want to do too much, but apparently that happened. Apparently that happened. Someone told it. Apparently that happened. They saying on Reddit that happened. So I never said it didn't. Just saying that's how the beef started. And then YG's people killed Draco. Seems like that wasn't a good idea. And then all the Draco fans turned him into a martyr when the man dug his own grave because all he wanted to do is diss the Bloods in every song he dropped. And he did do that. He was whiling. Okay. They're saying Draco's music blows YG away. They snuck a knife in to sneak stab someone who was standing up against. Okay. We got all of that. But I'm really trying to hear. How did YG get involved in Inglewood beef? You're not even that cool with Mustard anymore. Mustard from the East Side. How did gang politics get a part of the record deal that fell through? And then Slim got killed in Inglewood. Slim ain't got nothing to do with this. So after Draco and Mustard fell out, Draco started sending shots to YG, dissing him because he thought they blackballed him. The video in this post. When that beef with Inglewood sparked up, YG got involved basically from mutual alliances and people that are from Inglewood. People that are from Inglewood, they're all mutually allied. YG was already linked up with Mozzie. Mozzie was making music with Inglewood rappers like Rucci, AZ, Frosty, all people that Draco was beefing with. So if you're a rapper and had ties to Inglewood, you beefing with Draco, and Draco was on a come up and then got the Drake co-sign. So I'm about to tell you how Drake, not Draco, Drake, the Drake, Drizzy Drake, the Six God, big reps up, Six God, all of that, all right, why he's now involved in this as well. Okay, that's crazy. Why nobody get at Drake for fucking with the dude who is against the BP card overall? Cali is so selective when it comes to politics. I'm gonna tell you, Drake involved. Drake a big problem in this. Drake a big problem with this. All right, let me show you. Let me show you. I'm gonna tell you everything in this video. Right, listen, this ain't no shallow. This is a deep dive. Okay, it's in a documentary. This is a deep dive. I got all the info. I've been knowing about this for years. So. It says, do people know that the YG and Drake beef stems from Drake collabing with Draco the Ruler, aka YG's biggest op? YG definitely felt a way about that. People saying there's no beef. Who gives a F if YG doesn't like Drake in 2026? I doubt Drake cares. So I'm not saying he cares. YG is a nobody. It's irrelevant for Drake, but they did have 2 big songs together. Those are prime examples of the Drake stimulus. He said, you know who really bang a set? YG. And YG made a whole track about it. Like, shut up, dog. You were used for a bar. Nobody cares about you or your doubled album. I'm not putting all of that on YG because I do actually like some of YG's music. People saying, I didn't know that at all. I assumed everyone from Cali partnered up because of where they're from. Right? Here's the thing. Man. All these Bloods, Kendrick and Blood, all of that stuff, right? So look. Here's the thing. They're saying, have you seen YG's new album? This is 8 hours ago. How's it got verses from Pusha T, Ab Soul, All right. Push's verse mentions chains and jewelry. I don't have time to listen to it, but we might need to dig into it. People saying it's a hit, but you got Pusha T on there. Lots of Drake disses. We'll copy my comment from earlier after my first listen in a few tracks at the end of the comment. The aesthetic feels much in line with Kendrick's Grammy Award appearance. The fact he's got Clips and Tyler on there. YG's addressing Drake, mentioning him on Family Matters. Also refuting the accusations he was involved in Draco's death. Noting that if it was true, you'd be a effing rat and I'd be in the cell sleeping on a rack bar. Is that referencing Draco's 2-year detention without sentence from 2018? Who's the rat? Also the track OMG had my mind jumping. Oh my God, I'm really that guy. Also on Draco's Boogeyman, he raps, he's just an actor, but he can't be Mekhi Phifer. YG says, and we know the truth, he had beef with a whole nother rapper. But that's a story for another day, whole nother chapter. Funny characteristics, let him be an actor. Drake was an actor, all right? So YG's on here dissing Drake, okay? And there's more to it, and we're going to get into it. Okay, there's more to it. I'll show you in a minute. I'll show you now. This is 2 years ago, right? On the Kendrick Lamar sub. See, bro, this has gone right over your head, people. YG takes a shot at Drake on his new track, Weird. What, like Ingleweird? What, like the song that got Draco killed? Oh, what? YG taking a shot at Drake on his track Weird after being name dropped by Drake on Family Matters. When it's smoke, don't ever mention my name. You're going to have me jeopardizing my fame, jeopardizing the gang, jeopardizing where you hang. He said weirdo, all right? They're saying maybe this is what Kendrick was referring to. How many ops you got? It's too many options. I'm finna pass on this body like I'm John Stockton. He's saying he finna pass the body to YG. Let YG kill him like Draco, allegedly, right? Here's the thing. YG ain't rocking with Drake. It makes sense. Drake shouldn't be speaking on YG's gang affiliation. It's low-key telling, isn't it? You know who really bang a set, my guy? That's YG. Wait, what do you mean bang a set? Why are you bringing a RICO on me? All right? I'm saying Weird and Cali is hella disrespectful too. All right? All right? So look, listen. There's so much to this, and I got more bars for you. I'm not even part way through. Right? So YG, Weird. It's a Drake diss. Huh? What? Dude's weird. Walking around talking about shit you hear. What? I guess who really bang a set? You know that's YG. You snitch. Well, Drake snitched on him. He's accusing someone of being weird for spreading gossip. Actually refers to Drake spreading rumors of domestic violence between Kendrick Lamar. Nah, genius. Walking around talking about shit you heard. You heard I was a blood. When the gang pop out, N-words in fear. YG's saying when his gang is mobilized, people are fearful. All right? The specific use of the term pop out is referring to Kendrick Lamar's diss track, Not Like Us, where he raps, sometimes you got to pop out and show dudes. Also, he had the pop out show. When his bitch got knocked, he was in tears. Huh, what? You dudes are weird. I'll be driving some shit I can't steer. My dude was shooting so close I can't hear. YG is implying he's steering a car where a drive-by is being committed from. What? The shooting where Draco got hit in 2020, when they shot up Draco's car in 2021. Gang going dumb like I ain't got a career. So he's saying you dudes are, but this is a Drake diss. Weird ass dude and you're feeling about these bitches. Weird ass dudes off that perk you be tripping. I'm gonna tell you about yourself and your weird ass gonna listen. He dissing Drake. He been dissing. You ain't even realize you be on that bullshit, Scottie Pippen. You're a weirdo. Effing on weird hoes. Weirdo. We don't go near those. Your whole life in limbo. You bitter ass better be sweet, you Cheerios. Weird ass, you lame. When it's smoke, don't ever mention my name. You know who really bang a set out there? It's YG. Shouldn't have mentioned him, all right? So he's threatening to kill him. You're going to have me jeopardizing my phone. He's threatening to kill Drake because he was fucking with Draco. And then he's snitching on you being in a set. He said, huh, what? Dudes are bitches. Disrespect us. I'm crossing limits. No motion when y'all pop out. It's crickets. Now that can't be talking. Maybe he's talking about Draco. Drake got all the motion. Coming up short in life, you dudes a midget. Maybe he's talking about Kendrick. I don't want to hear it. You ain't Pyru. Stop talking about the business. You know who really bang a set, my guys? YG. He said you ain't Pyru. Stop talking business. Effing on your bitch. The Pyrus did it. He's saying that the Bloods and the Pyrus, Kendrick's lot, was smashing on Drake's bitch. We ain't never heard that before. You ain't heard that one before. You ain't heard that this... Bro, I got so much info. I'm actually not even 30% of the way through this. Buckle up. It's going to be a long one. Said, effing on your bitch, the Pyrus did it. We ain't never got to be cool. I'm bull with it. All right? And I'm going to show you Flacco's video in a minute. He talking about that's not bull. That's not bull. But this is the thing. Flacco's just dropped a video talking about how YG snitching, but Drake done snitched on him. They're saying dude's a weird equivalent of a bitch. Dude's a weird, take that as a diss. Dude's a weird, they ain't on shit. Point the 40 at a dude till it click. What, like Draco when he was in his car? Dudes will weird pillow talk him. All right? That's apparently about Drake. They was talking about Drake and 40 and all sorts of pillow talking going. You don't support the bros, you ain't living by the code. He's saying you run to California when you need a check balance. You talking about who's really banging a set out there. You ain't got no business talking about that. He said, weird, not functioning properly as expected, unstable, broken ass dude. So YG in 2024 is dissing Drake. All right. And here's the problem. Okay. Here's the problem. Where is it? So like Drake and Drakeo the Ruler had this song together in 2021, all right? So this is when the beef was absolutely on fire, all right? The story behind Drake and Drakeo the Ruler's collab, they had the song called Talk to Me. It was a banger, okay? So Drake handed out the stimulus package to Drakeo the Ruler, all right? And again, now in 2024, we got YG dissing Drake when he's talking about, you know, who really bang a set out there. YG wasn't rocking with Drake because how are you collabing with my biggest op that allegedly shot me in the hip? And they link it up on a track. And Draco's smart because he probably roped real Drake into this without Drake even realizing that he was getting into the beef. We might slide on a dude inside the club. Close your eyes. Last time they ran into somebody outside a party, a blood ended up getting killed and Drakeo beat it. And now and then he gets out and starts running around talking about we know the truth. Now he's collaborating with Drake. 15 brothers, no friends when I pull up for peace of mind. And he had a whole bunch with him that day when somebody got killed. Okay? And so Drake's on the hook, and then Draco's talking shit on the song. Don't be shy, I got killers with me, stupid. I march with sticks, I ain't worried about groupies. I know you want me because you're BD or goofy. Boss you up, your lifestyle could be exclusive. But I don't know you hang around with losers, internet trolls, and dudes trying to do me. Dudes like YG. 650S, bitch, I feel like Lil Boosie. You want me, so do all your friends, you stupid. Stop complaining to me. Am I not the one you love? Am I not the one you love? Am I not the one you love? Excuse me? Am I not the one you love? Do you remember this? Bitch, who do you love? That's Drake and YG. And who's done the beat? Mustard. Mustard. It gets so deep. It gets so deep. You ain't even know this was a year before Drakeo shot YG, allegedly, right? Drakeo said he did it. So he's capping or he's snitching on himself, right? So he's on here, stop complaining to me. Am I not the one you love? This is a double entendre. You want me, so do all your friends, is you stupid? He talking about YG, ain't talking about a bad bitch. He got Drake on the song, and he talking about YG, who he shot. Insanity. Ain't coming over late night, don't want no shoulder rubs. Brother. Ain't coming over late night, don't want no shoulder rubs. YG shot 3 times at a recording studio at 1:45 a.m. Stop playing with me, man. In the trenches every night, bitch. I'm holding guns. Hold me down or could you slow me down? I'm a dog because you really know me now. On black and white because I'm getting holy now. Another reason I'm going to have to slow it down. Snakes in the grass. You know I had to blow them down. At 1:45 a.m. local time in Studio City. And he claimed it. We at the club, all my dudes down to slide like when they slid on Red Bull with Kells outside the party, outside the function. Look for the bright lights. I ain't really hard to find. We at the club, all my dudes down to slide. Looking for the bright lights. I ain't really hard to find. And he's got Drake on there. And then he got Drake on there singing. We might slide on a dude inside the club. Please close your eyes, girl. Drake was low-key foul for this. Drake was low-key foul doing that to YG. That's your homie. You got songs, bitch. Who do you love? I'm the brother with the plugs. This was a banger. I'm that Bank of America account got 6. This was hard. But Drakeo was going hard. I know you want me. I know you love me. You can't control me. Why are you acting like the police? It's a double entendre. He was dissing YG the whole time, in my opinion. Okay. Pussy ain't that good for me. Pussy ain't that good to keep me from my homies. We just cool, bro. You getting too excited. Pussy ain't that good to keep me from. He's dissing YG. It's a double entendre. Ain't seen your face when I was up on that indictment. Ain't get a letter. I was struggling and fighting with these people. They was demons. Tried to put me in a cage with saying free me. Now we on a TV drag racing at 8A. Rugrats in the car. We was at BB's, a baby, was your name in any JPays, got the audacity to talk to me crazy, you bugging. Who is he talking about? I don't think he's talking about a female, bro. He's talking about YG. Okay. So this is what's going on, all right? completely under your noses, this is what's going on. Okay? 4 years ago, Drakeo the Ruler, who collaborated with Drake on the song Talk to Me, passed away at the age of 28. You don't even know how deep this was. We know the truth. Then some LA guys stole his whole sound after he passed. I won't say the name. They saying Kendrick stole the whole sound. The midget stole his flow, but doesn't pay any homage to him. So all the Bloods, including Kendrick, locked in with YG. Then Kendrick stole his flow and had the dude that murdered him dance on stage to it. Wait a hot damn minute. Bruv. What do you think about YG performing at the Pop Out? Lame move in my opinion. Bro got 2 out of 3 of his biggest hits from the boy. We know the truth. We know the truth. This is crazy. Right? This is so. A minute ago, y'all was jumping around. Who do you love? Who do you love? Bank of America account got 6 figures. All right? Kendrick stole the flow. The Drakeo the Ruler flow. They said that Kendrick was stealing the whole mannerisms in the music video. Bro, come on. This is insane. This is insane, bro. All right? Listen, people been known, right? There's a bunch of articles about this. Kendrick Lamar puts on LA for GNX, but the truth remains unsaid. The truth, he still fails to acknowledge the truth. We know the truth. The truth is complicated, all right? The truth is complicated. Look, I ain't got time to read you this whole thing, all right? But it's all about Drakeo the Ruler. Let's come out and say it. There's something eerily unsettling about the way Drakeo the Ruler has informed Kendrick Lamar's latest style, especially because the circumstances of his death and the complete refusal to acknowledge his existence. And yes, there is the stifling notion of politics that plagues and defines all of LA. Kendrick, over the last 3 years, has leaned so heavily into Drakeo style, it's unavoidable. He appropriates the blasé swagger, the nonchalant eye rolls, even the slang and the way he enunciates syllables. 6 months after Draco's murder, Kendrick played tacit tribute to LA's most influential artist on Mr. Morale on the track Rich Spirit. He subtly incorporated his cryptic vernacular, imitating the way that he'd say, in his ad-libs, channeled the aesthetic and feel of his impatient freestyle. The whole way the West Coast may have realized that Mudwalking on Purple Hearts was a Drakeo original, but Dot was nonetheless artfully dipping into the South Central cultural cachet while maintaining a sound that felt unique to him and his longtime producer Soundwave. Right? They're saying Kendrick stole Draco's flow from Mr. Get Dough. All right? The song that sparked Draco's career after Mustard remixed the beat and added RJ and Choice to the track. All right? They were saying Mustard and YG was trying to blackball. This is so complicated. Drake is involved in this. The Kendrick Drake beef and the Drakeo YG beef is complete. It's all the same thing. It's actually intertwined. Drizzy Drake actually got problems with the Bloods. All of the Bloods, right? This is serious. Hey Now and Peekaboo. Peekaboo. That's a Drakeo song, bro. Peekaboo. Peekaboo. That's a Drakeo song, bro. Call back to Draco's hushed and hilarious murmurs and add to the signifiers. Kendrick chose to include an artist who Drakeo was beefing with before his death. Bruv. Listen, this is all related, right? You think it's just a coincidence that on Peekaboo he stole Draco's flow and put AZ Chike on the track who Drakeo been beefing with? That ain't no coincidence. What are they talking about? They're talking about now. What are they talking about? They're talking about now. I can't even do it. What are they talking about? They're talking about now. All right? Peekaboo 762's making plank. Peekaboo popping out your banner. Bro, this a Drakeo. This a Drakeo flow. This is Drakeo flow. Peekaboo. I just put the burgers on my chain. Peekaboo. 80.1 Kobe gang. Peekaboo 762's are making plank. That's a Drakeo. This is Drakeo line. Drakeo could have written that line. 762's are making plank. Bro, it's a Drakeo. It's all Drakeo, right? It's all Drakeo. Okay, he put AZ Chike on the track. This is all a Drakeo diss. It's all about. You remember that scene in Breaking Bad where he's like, "No, this is all about me." That's Drakeo the Ruler right now. So anyway, let's bring it all the way back, right? We're still talking about YG had that diss song called Weird that was a Drake diss song back in 2024. He wasn't feeling Drake saying, you know who bangers say it's YG, right? That was very disrespectful. Getting called a weirdo in LA is instant fade. That's why Drakeo had the song Inglewood. He was dissing all of Inglewood. He called them weird. That was murder talk, all right? So this is the thing. So basically, all of this is basically like, it's all connected to the Drake YG Drakeo beef. It's all connected. Everyone's saying weirdo really is the most offensive word known to Californians. You can't call people, you're a weirdo, bro. You're a weirdo. You're weird. It's like very, very derogatory in California. Okay? So that's been established, right? That's been established. So here's the thing, okay? Here's the thing. Let's get back to this post. The Drakeo and YG beef was going crazy behind the scenes and nobody knew about it. Hun diddy bop. He shot him in the hip. And now I'm about to read you some crazy shit. Yeah, people really think the beef was new. YG's people shot at Drakeo and his homies and their whips. YG's people shot at Drakeo's mother's house. Drakeo's homies shot YG at the studio in 2015. Well, Drakeo said on the lyric he did it. And they shot him in the hip. There were robbery attempts from both sides, and Drakeo and his homies shot and killed one of YG's homies at the party together with Red Bull, but he survived. So apparently someone else survived. The Red Bull situation didn't make things better, and the Indian Red Boy situation didn't help. A lot of people have been denying it, but rumor has it Drakeo was responsible for the murder of Indian Red Boy, right? Maybe not personally, but look, they're saying I'm not going to go into too many any details. Now, I can't show you the video, but this guy, Indian Red Boy, he was killed on camera. There's a viral video of him. He's on live. He's live on Instagram Live, and he gets murdered on live. I'm not going to show it to you, but this was the news, all right? You can go and look it up in your own time. This was another blood from LA. LA rapper shot to death while filming himself on Instagram Live. That's Indian Red Boy, all right? Killed last week in a brazen shooting that was broadcast live on Instagram, all right? Why do people think Drakeo did this? Well, he said this. He said this famous lyric on Just Dance, all right? Just Dance. And remember, he already doing hip diddy bop, talking about YG getting shot in the hip. Just dance when these choppers hit the floor like Lady Gaga. I stripped him. I was at the studio eating steak and lobster. YG got shot at the studio, okay? What the F these dudes talking about? I'll jump off the stage right now and make his car race. Track stars have him running backwards and broad. That he dissing, all right? Heard my ops don't like me. I got all their addresses. If we ain't shoot his house up right now, I know we double backed on it. Here's the thing, all right? This was such a savage lyric, all right? We ain't gonna go back and forth. We ready to drop something. Rolls Royce and Bentley cars pulling. We got his block jumping. I heard Drakeo was doing drive-bys in his Rolls Royce. 100 shots in his Corolla. Let's go. The cops come in. Lean with it. Rock with it. We put holes in his white tee. And this is an Indian Red Boy. Since dudes like Instagram so much, they're going to die on it. 223 shells rocking in his head while he live streaming. That's about Indian Red Boy. And they saying Drakeo and his crew had something to do with that. All right? Grim Reaper, this is a sweet streaper. I'm a soul snatcher. We know the truth. Drakeo might have been the one catching the bodies. Okay? Play caller. Get the blueprint, bitch. I'm Jay-Z. So is he saying he called the play? He getting everybody killed. It's all him. All right? He said it. Camera crews out. Somebody died here. We know the truth, bitch. Ha ha ha. We ain't like 223. They're going to die on it. And since dudes love Instagram so much, they're going to die on it. So we're going to just act like this wasn't all happening. Okay? We're going to act like this wasn't all happening. He literally died on Instagram Live, and you can go and watch the video. All right, I'm not going to show it to you, but you get it. We know the truth. So I'm not going to go into too many details, but the beef was heated. Drakeo talked about it several times in his song. They were throwing hella shots at each other. A lot of events occurred before the stabbing. You know, I ain't want to believe it first, but it makes a lot of sense. Let me find out. We ain't know that Drakeo's homies was the ones that gave YG the geezer hip. Forget about homies, bro. He's a rapper, but I made his hips rock and roll. He did it. He did it. Mariachi drum make him cha-cha. He had unlimited lyrics about this. All right? That is stamped. That's stamped. And it had been going on. All right? All right? Yep, Drakeo was the one who set up the whole situation. We know the truth. He was the driver. He handed the guns to Kells and AB. He's a rapper. I made his hip rock and roll. We pulling up to his stew if you don't state facts. All you heard was K rounds in the playback. Mariachi drums made a dude cha-cha. Right? This was 4 years ago. You want to talk about me snitching, Flacco snitching, blah, 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 blah. He got shot in the hip 2015. He was standing outside the studio and he was with the Inglewood Bloods when it happened. All right? If all this transpired, bro shouldn't have been at the show with nothing less than an army. That's a fact. That's a fact. He shouldn't have been there knowing that he did all of this. Absolutely not. All right? People saying it's cap. Believe what you want to believe. Okay? Did YG say anything about Drakeo? He done said a lot. Okay? So, shout out to Drakeo, who's only too deep and having the yeeky when YG and bodyguards popped up on him. He was smoking a cig in front of the Waldorf Astoria. Situation was quickly diffused, allegedly. I don't even want to say too much, but yeah, I heard that there was a confrontation between them and Drakeo had the strap on YG. That's what some people were saying. And it's been said a lot of time, all right? So there's all this talk, right? You want to talk about snitching this, snitching that. This has been, all right? So when Draco was on live, I think saying he pulled that thing out on some dudes and they started running, was he talking about YG? YG and Mustard, it was a different situation where nobody got hurt. All right? All right? So that's what's going on. But as we know, right, eventually the Bloods caught up with Draco the Ruler at a festival and Draco ended up being stabbed to death, right? And unfortunately for YG, some of the people that were there when this murder took place was wearing his 400 merch. Not a great look, all right? There was enough evidence tying YG to the feud with Draco the Ruler as it was, but this really was the cherry on top, excuse the pun since cherries are red. But, you know, somebody with 400 merch on the scene, your branding, we got goddamn product placement in the murder. Not really a great look. But the murder happens. Let me play you a little excerpt from this documentary so that you can understand how this all went down. And then what I'm going to do, all right, then I'm going to update you now with what happened as far as this new diss that YG has dropped, which again, he is very, very silly for bringing extra attention to this situation because, all right, that RICO ain't going to be too far behind.
When things went left, Draco, Ralphie, and others engaged in a scuffle, as apparently somebody in the distance shouted, "Fuck the Stink Team, fuck Draco," with the Stink Team immediately set to square up and squabble with their opposition. Draco, Ralphie, and others begin to engage in a scuffle, but what begins as a fair fight soon swells into a mob brawl, as dozens more people appear to face off with the Stink Team in a fight. According to witnesses, the attackers are apparently Blood members. The mob of attackers, mostly wearing red, descend on the Stink Team, apparently hollering the famous Blood chant, "Su Woo." This gang of Bloods was later described as being around 40 to 60 people strong, having the Stink Team only 6 men strong, massively outnumbered. With individuals at the scene notably being seen wearing 400 merch, the record and clothing label of Blood rapper YG, who had allegedly arrived at the venue with his entourage shortly before this scuffle broke out. Footage of the altercation would later surface online, which despite being very chaotic, if slowed down and observed carefully, does appear to show the moment when Draco the Ruler is stabbed. These clips are far too violent to show you on YouTube, but if you want to see a full frame-by-frame breakdown of what happened in the footage, you can see that on my Patreon. Slow-motion footage circulating after the incident breaks down this short 20 seconds of fight footage in excruciating detail. Before the stabbing takes place, you can actually see somebody in a black ski mask being handed an object that looks like a knife. As the fight goes on, Draco's outnumbered crew are rushed back by the mob of Bloods and separated from Draco. At this point, the individual who was earlier handed an object appears to swing a knife at Draco, with Draco putting out an open hand to block the blade. His use of an open palm to protect himself is notable because it suggests that he could see a blade coming towards him rather than a fist, which would have elicited a closed knuckle guard. From here, the camera pans to the right, and we don't see Draco being stabbed directly. However, from the audio, it appears as if somebody is shouting he has a knife, as we see what appears to be Stink Team members fleeing through a nearby gate. As they run, it sounds like somebody says, "We got him," perhaps a sign that the fatal stab to Draco's neck had just been administered. And while nothing more of this loud rumble is seen in the clip, later more footage would emerge, seeming to show Draco the Ruler receiving medical attention as he lays on the ground bleeding from his neck. Draco would be transported from the venue to the hospital in critical condition, sadly being pronounced dead as a result of his stab wounds around midnight, roughly 4 hours after the altercation.
So who killed Draco the Ruler? Well, good thing we got Poetic Flacco on the scene, all right? They want to say that he's a snitch, he told yada, 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 but really, he the only one who was bold enough to put this out there. So he done popped out on the 2nd of April, so a couple, 2 months ago, 2.5 months ago, and he basically laid the goods out. He said, "I know who killed Draco. I'm not going to show you any evidence, but I've heard through the grapevine that this is what happened." And I believe him. I'll just say I believe him, because I heard he was correct.
But who was that dude that stabbed Draco in his neck? Who was it? He's a friend of Munchie B called Frankenstone. His legal name is Frank Williams. Now, this particular screenshot right here is footage from another murder Frank Williams is involved in. We are not going to show the footage or identify the victim of the murder because we personally don't want to include the victim in anything out of respect for him and his family. That footage that I'm not going to show nor identify who the victim was, that footage is of Frankenstone, aka Frank Williams, stabbing another victim in the neck after an altercation at an after-party spot. He murdered this victim the same way he murdered Draco. The victim held his hand out to shake Frank Williams' hand. Frank Williams refused to shake his hand and then stalked him all across the building and then ultimately stabbed him. Now, the police believe that he did this to promote or assist the Black Peace Stones. He's currently out on bail as he's fighting this murder case. Now, when he found out that I was going to do this video about him, that I was going to identify him as the man who stabbed and killed Draco the Ruler, he deleted his Instagram, his Facebook. He deleted all traces of himself from online. But it's too late for him to run and hide. The police have identified him because people who were present has identified him as the one who did it.
So he claimed that this was somebody from BPS, right? Black P Stone. This guy called Frankenstone. He is Stone from the BPS, all right? And what's really interesting, okay, when Flacco did this, people immediately tried to do damage control. They said, don't even waste your time watching this. Flacco accuses a random guy from BPS for being Draco's killer and doesn't show any evidence or proof, just rumors. He makes a lot of statements, but no credible source or proof. Top comment says, buddy, they were saying it was BPS like a day or two after Draco died, lol. And the dude being involved in another stabbing don't help. People saying Black P Stones isn't a gang of 4 members. I don't think you realize how big they are. Flacco didn't show any evidence of the guy he accused of being the guy that killed Draco the Ruler, but the streets was saying that BPS did it. All right. We've been said it was BPS. Flacco might have got him. All right. People doing damage control, but like, I ain't seen nobody. Look, I don't even know about this Frankenstone guy. They done deleted all the evidence. Right. People saying Flacco lying, all this stuff, but this is going around too. So let's just chuck this on top. This is 5 Shot, allegedly, aka Red Flame from BPS. He's currently locked up in the kennel for a gun. This is the same guy that shot at Draco in his car in 2021. Draco dissed BPS and the song Stinks Around LA. So why would BPS, why would they want to, they've been trying to kill Draco the Ruler, right? They've been trying to kill Draco the Ruler, okay? And they said that Draco dissed them on the song. Right, people saying it's a lie. First it was Indian Red Bull saying the Stinks did it. They didn't. Well, I don't know. And then saying the Stinks did the YG shooting. They didn't. They weren't beefing at the time. Mustard was cool with Draco at the time. People in the comments, they're saying, if you know, you know. Frankenstone from BPS work. All right. That was a few days after Flacco's video that somebody said that. All right. So now the latest is that YG has dropped his album, okay, and he's dropped this song, We Know the Truth, where he's going at Draco. And this is one of the dumbest things that he has ever done in his career, because just as things were ramping up and people were identifying other Bloods that were involved in the murder of Draco the Ruler, YG has decided to drop a song dissing the man that he allegedly was, you know, connected to the murder. He talking about the homies gonna come and get you. This ain't no rap beef. We sending the homies to come and get you. That's a RICO, sir. You're asking for a RICO. And he has decided to drop a whole song with the guy's catchphrase as the name of the song. And then he's got fake AI news intro talking about breaking news. Rapper YG is being accused of murder. Apparently this took place in his hometown. Police officer says they're looking for new information. Him or his team have yet to make a statement. This whole song is a diss to Flacco, saying that Flacco is a snitch for trying to put this murder on him, because basically Flacco is saying that YG is going to be scared, shaking in his boots because Frankenstone about to be getting arrested and it's a big RICO. So this song's dropped and Flacco's absolutely destroyed him and also called him a snitch at the same time, which is pretty bold. I'm not sure Flacco coming back to LA anytime soon, but listen, right? This is what he said.
YG just made the biggest mistake of his life yesterday. This is top 3 dumbest thing a rapper has ever done. It doesn't get much dumber than this. This man dropped a record 5 years later talking about the murder of Draco the Ruler and whether or not he had any involvement in it. And I'm here to tell you, he said entirely too much. He got to dry snitching. Yeah, and I know a lot of people involved with YG, a lot of his rappers, homies involved in that beef, is listening to this song like, hold on, cause did you just say what I thought you said? No, hold on, cause nah, that ain't cool. Nah, that ain't boo. YG, what you did last night ain't boo. Now, YG would describe certain details that is not consistent with the facts. And you ask yourself, why are you lying? Like, if you did, why are you lying?
Well, in developing news this morning, rapper...
So look, all right, Flacco goes on to break the whole situation down. He shows a bunch of different little clips and interesting segments about the whole situation. But where he really cooks him is basically just pointing out the fact. He points out that YG lies a couple of times in the song. And the song is basically, I'll keep it real, the song's a Flacco diss. The song's a Flacco diss. They say, I murdered this, I murdered that. Well, if that's true, you'd be an effing rat.
Right? Him and his dudes beef for real. And if it's beef, which it was with YG and Draco, him and his dudes is going to come and get you. Draco understood that was a threat towards him, and that YG was publicly stating that they're gonna come and get Draco.
Like, people be knowing, like, if you know, you know. If you don't, you don't. I'm not finna be going out there doing no rap diss and shit. It's like, if it's smoke, it's really smoke with us. We ain't playing, you know? So, like, I'm gonna tell the homies the same shit, bro. I done told D3 that, like, we ain't doing none of that weird shit. For nothing, for the rap, no, we not.
Notice how he reacted when he said weird. You can see how serious saying calling someone weird in LA is.
Weird for nothing, for the rap, no, we not on none of that. we trying to make hits. We gonna move around, get rich, have fun. All that rap beef and all that shit. We not rap beefing, we really beefing. The homies gonna get you. You know what I'm saying? So it's like we ain't even trying to do that. We chilling. We not on that. So, you know what I'm saying? That's what I tell the homies. That's what I tell the homies that my I be with.
When they drove past it, they seen members from YG crew, 400 members. They were in that van. When they finally hopped out the vehicle, they began to walk past several members of 400 and YG crew with 400 shirts on. They also walked past several BPS members. One member right here you see have a Cardinals jacket on. When Drakeo finally walked in, it was a literal united Blood Nation front against Drakeo. This was a murder that was planned out days in advance. Because when Drakeo walked in, people had on ski masks. A rapper named K7 who was fighting next to Drakeo identified the man who was able to sneak in the knives to give to the assassins. His name is Gloves. He was YG's security guard for years, and he still is.
Cheers. I'm speaking facts, bro. YG in real life, and all the bro. I don't give a bro. I'm so mad, bro. My mama, bro. YG did some hoe, bro. And if I see Cuz, I'ma slap the shit with that. On all this puff talking like they hard, bro, but they fighting big ass security. You got those security guards fighting. Like, come on, bro. That's cool, bro. On my mama, bro. The big ass ball security guard snuck in knives, all type of weird.
The person he's saying snuck the knives in that was used to kill Drakeo is a man by the name of Big Gloves, as you see right here. He's YG's security guard. Anywhere you see YG, you see him. This was strategically and methodically planned because as soon as Drakeo walked in at 8:30, and by 8:32, it already sparked off. They were already in place, already had their knives, waiting for Drakeo to walk in so they could murder Drakeo.
We got there at 8.
So Flacco making it very, very clear, basically, all right, that YG was the general of this situation. His security is sneaking in the knives. Frankenstein's the one doing the stabbing. This is basically what happened, all right? That's exactly what happened, okay? So he's making it very clear who was involved and who was responsible.
The footage of them getting swarmed from 100 Bloods, from Pyrus to Inglewood families to BPS, that's on YouTube. Now, if you look at the still shot from this video, you see Drakeo is behind his security.
So look, you get the gist. I don't need to keep playing it to you, right? And, you know, YG security definitely not feeling this situation. People were heckling YG and his security and his bodyguard saying, long live Drakeo when they're out in the street. They not feeling it. They tired of it. And everyone in the city from random hecklers on the streets knows the truth.
To YG.
Long live Drakeo the ruler. YG, what up, man?
So he's getting heckled, right? He's getting heckled about this whole situation, right? This is the thing. There's a lot more to it than people thought, okay? So now I'm just going to finish off. I'm going to tell you this. And this song is basically an invitation to getting a RICO. This is one of the dumbest things a rapper's ever done because what this is doing is basically trying to say, breaking news, all these people saying I did a murder. This is what often happens, I think, when people are kind of involved in crimes, is it's like they're kind of so eager to try and clean it up that they then go a little bit overboard and then they end up talking a little bit too much. And that's what Flacco's saying, because Flacco's basically saying that YG's kind of snitching on some other Bloods in this song. But like, you know, we know the truth, basically. It says, they say I murdered this, I murdered that. Well, if that was true, you'd be an effing rat. He's talking about Flacco. This is a Flacco diss. This is a Flacco diss. And I'd be in the cell sleeping on a rack. Well, you might be if they get the RICO. Too bad it ain't a fact. All that talking on that effing app. The streets is done. It's an effing rap. Why are you bringing attention to the streets then, sir? What? All that talking on an effing app. Which app? Spotify? Apple Music? Deezer? YouTube Music? Which app? Because I'm seeing you talking on the app. You talking a lot on the app right now. The streets done. It's an effing rap. They want to see me fall the city whack. Same dude that once brought the city back. The flow's hard. I mean, I'm doing the flow, but I got paid $600 for that show, so why would I tell a dude to F it up, though? He talking about the show where Draco got killed. They're saying, well, he was supposed to go to that show. He's supposed to be. I can't possibly be. This don't make sense. All right. 600 ain't no 600,000 he getting paid for that show. Ain't enough money in the world for YG to be getting 600,000. Are you talking about $600? Are you talking about 60? That don't make no sense. This is a fact you should know. Slim just died. I wasn't worried about, bro. So he's saying Slim 400, my homie who got killed, that ain't have nothing to do with this beef. It was a completely separate situation. He said, I wasn't worried about bro. He talking too much because we know you was worried about bro because you got shot in the hip by him and was getting dissed relentlessly by this guy. And you want No Jumper talking about the homie's going to get you. You are weird. You weird. These weird bros. The guy dropped a song called Inglewood. So you on No Jumper doing the King Von impression. Talking about the homie's gonna get you, but then you talking about you wasn't worried about, bro. You shouldn't have. This should have never happened. This song is very, very bad news. It says I came to get the dough. I was finna hit the stage. Then I heard how y'all heard somebody got hit with a blade. You on the song playing dumb. I heard dudes saying YG paid. Stop lying. Come run YG fade. So he's inviting Flacco out for a fade. That's not gonna help the situation. Flacco's not out here looking for a fade. He's not turning up for a fade. And I heard dudes saying YG paid. Well, if the feds find out that you paid anyone, if the feds find out your paid security brought the knives in, I didn't say that. I didn't even know. I haven't seen any evidence for that. But Flacco on the video talking about YG security brought the knives into the venue. And then he's talking about, I'm at war. Up the score. This is a bad look. Up the score, what? Like the score went up when you killed Draco. Like Draco on diss songs opening the song talking about, I could just walk into the party with the scoreboard. So this is simultaneously he denying being involved in the murder, but he dancing on Draco's grave talking about they're trying to up the score. Why are you talking about the scoreboard? What, the scoreboard Draco kept rubbing in your face? And he said, I don't even know how I end up in the beef. When the shit got started, it ain't involved me. Not me. I'm from West Bompton Trees. What's weird is you was mad at Drake when Drake said, you know who really bang a set? That's YG. So you was mad at Drake for calling you out. You were saying Drake was a snitch for saying that you bang a set. But now you talking about you self-snitching, talking about from West Bompton Trees. Known to be with the shit and never cop no pleas. I really think it was all for attention. I ain't never say no name, but I was still in all the mentions. Now, he was dissing, all right? So I never said no name, but I was in all the mentions. Riding through the bitty, gripping on a Smith & Wesson, because beefing upon a star, them young dudes wishing. Moves to Inglewood, I was 19 young. Bro, you shouldn't be connecting yourself to Inglewood. Don't connect it. We was thinking you're from West Bompton Treetop, so you not involved in this beef, right? So like when Draco doing Inglewood and all people like Munchie B are pulling out the knife, pretending to stab themselves in the neck, mocking Draco, we thinking, okay, you're not from Inglewood, so maybe you didn't do this. Now you're talking about you moved to Inglewood when you was 19, so you connecting yourself with the guys that Draco was having beef with. Dudes tried to say I went Inglewood because I had beef with them. Y'all say I'm dumb. Was effing with the Inglewoods because duh, I'm a blood. You know who really bang a set out there? It's YG. You was mad when Drake was talking about you was banging a set out there, but now you banging it on yourself. So he said, he had a beef with a whole nother rapper, but that's a story for another day, another chapter. Now it says YG is probably referring to Inglewood rapper AZ Chike's beef with Draco the Ruler and the Stink Team. Now what's interesting is in Flacco's video, he believed that this was actually YG snitching on RJ and his beef. And I do kind of see where Flacco's coming from. He's basically saying that YG sort of snitching here, dry snitching, saying he had a beef with a whole nother rapper. So he's saying it can't be nothing to do with me. I heard they say YG paid, stop lying. I didn't pay for it. He had a beef with a whole nother rapper. That's a story for another chapter. Now, he didn't name them. Genius thinks it's AZ Chike. Flacco thinks that it is... Flacco thinks that it's RJ, I believe. And he mentions it around here. Hang on.
Crying on a record about being falsely accused of being involved in a murder while also chanting, I'm at war, up the score. You rap ninjas can't be this dumb. You know, I refuse to believe y'all are this stupid. At this point, I think y'all are trolling because you can't be this stupid. You just cannot be this. It's physically impossible to be this idiotic.
Okay, so I don't want to play any of the... I'm actually so surprised Flacco was bold enough to actually play the song. He actually plays segments from the song. He pretty much plays the whole song, okay? He pretty much plays the whole song, which is just insane to me. I think YG's going to be hitting him with a copyright strike. I'm not going to be that dumb in my video. Sorry, guys, but I'm not going to play you the lyrics. I'm just going to read them to you because I don't want YG to hit me with a copyright strike, let alone 100 Bloods.
Oh, that's dry snitching. Oh, that ain't boo. That ain't boo at all, YG, at all. That is some dry snitching if I ever seen one. the walls is closing in, so now they telling on each other. And I hope you guys caught on, because what YG did is very strategic. YG says, yo, look at the time. I came in after the fact. I was set to perform at this time. I came in after the fact. Why y'all blaming me? He was already beefing with Inglewood and these other Bloods. I ain't never had no beef with Drakeo. And then he transitions to saying, yo, he had beef with another rapper, but that's another story for another chapter. So after saying, hey, he was already beefing with these Bloods, me and him never had no direct issue. He was beefing with another rapper, but that's another story for another chapter. And YG brings up the time he got there and then tells us, yo, he was beefing with this other rapper, but that's another story for another chapter. That's dry snitching. He's implying, yo, there was this other rapper that was there. Y'all should focus on, not me. I got there at this time. I wasn't even his main op. He had other people he really hated. He had his other enemies there. Well, when you look at the lineup, you see, well, Draco's one of his biggest ops. RJ Mr. LA was performing at 450 on the same lineup as Drakeo, set to hit the same stage that Drakeo was set to hit. So YG is throwing RJ Mr. LA under the bus.
Whilst RJ was on tour.
So Flacco uses a segment from my video where I talk about the whole beef with RJ. But I'm actually not sure that's who he's talking about. He might actually be talking about AZ Chike, about him having a beef with AZ Chike, a whole other rapper, a whole nother chapter. And let's not forget, AZ Chike's on the track Peekaboo, where Kendrick Lamar stole Draco's flow, didn't give him no respect, and then put Draco's op on the song to disrespect him because he locked him with all the Bloods just like YG. And YG hates Drake because Drake talking about, you know who really bang a set of YG. Funny characteristics, let him be an actor. Why would I beef with dude? I was the factor. That don't make sense. We know why you would be beefing dude, because he shot you in the hip and mocked you for years, all right? And that's fucked up, all right? And maybe he deserved to get killed for shooting you in the hip and dancing around and making jokes about it for years, okay? Maybe he deserved it. Maybe he was right. Like, yeah, maybe that's gangster, but the feds ain't going to see... The feds just going to see that as a motive, all right? And when it says funny characteristics, let him be an actor, I don't know if that's another little Drake diss, all right? But again, I never speak about it because that's law and I'm about it. But crazy, why are you speaking about it now then? All right. But crazy y'all sounded for too long and I allowed it. You ain't allowed nothing. Anyone can do whatever. Civilians can talk about the situation all they want. All right. You sounded too long for I allowed it. We got people with 400 merch at the scene of the murder. All right. We got every single different type of blood out here having issues with Drakeo. It just is what it is. Dude's talking about, we know the truth. Yeah, I doubt it. Keep a blick when it's an outing. Because y'all got my judgment cloudy. So you admitting to more crimes there. It's sad they're trying to paint me as the bad guy when the guy was looking for smoke with a flashlight. I'm not denying. This might be the biggest facts in the whole song, because it sounds like Drakeo was low-key, overly paranoid, overly aggressive. He took things the wrong way when it came to Mustard trying to sign him, and he felt Mustard and YG was blackballing him, and then he caught YG outside of a studio and shot him in the hip. All right, so maybe he did deserve for a bunch of Bloods to get mobilized to murder him because of all the mockery, and as well as the fact that, you know, he might well have been responsible for the murder of Red Bull and got away with it. It sounds like he got away with shooting YG in the hip. This is when that guy was looking for the smoke with a flashlight. So yeah, really, that's true. YG maybe isn't the bad guy. Maybe he was justified in getting Drakeo killed. This ain't no diss. I'm just speaking on my past life. I hope my truth doesn't make you dudes want to crash, right? Because my same house in Inglewood, that dude used to be there, was all good. Now, this is crazy. When Lil Bro and Kells were smoking swishers, not backwards. So he's saying that his homie, he had a Lil Bro. I don't know if he's talking about Red Bull or someone else, but apparently there was a personal beef between Red Bull and Kells that we don't know about. I don't know if he's talking about Kells or something else. But he's saying before Kells caught the case, she had some fat cords. Some fat cords, right? Now, the flat case, I don't fully know what that one's about. I'm not going to lie. That could be, I mean, I don't even want to, I don't even want to speculate on that one, but I'm going to let Reddit work that one out, okay? Because in a few days, I think people are going to work that out, but I don't even want to say that in this video. But it's saying, before Kells caught the flack case, she had some fat cords when Lil Bro was smoking swishers. So he's saying Kells used to be in Inglewood, hanging out, potentially with Red Bull or someone else, and he was there with Lil Bro smoking swishers. Before he caught the flat case, She had some fat chords here, and I put money on his head. Embarrassing. All that, we know the truth. Arrogance. Dudes with their one side false narratives, but now you got my side. There it is. So his side is some other rapper killed Draco the Ruler. That's a bit mad. That's a bit crazy. But, you know, he talking about Kells. We was all good back in the day before he caught the case. People saying I put money on Draco's head. Embarrassing. I don't think there's anybody that would have wanted Draco dead more than YG, perhaps Munchie, perhaps other people. There's a bunch of potential suspects. This song's just not doing anyone any favors, right? He said, there's part of me I want to kill. Dudes lied on my name and I kept it real. This is what happens when you're still up in the field. Oh, so you're still up in the field. The feds are going to love that. Get hit with a stray bullet, then wounds hard to heal. Is that finally referencing him getting shot in the hip by Draco? Perhaps. Dudes touching 30 and some change. I've been trying to keep the mental tamed, but they throwing dirt on my name. When you're back against the wall, that's when you let the pistol bang. So again, it's like you threatening to kill it. Low key, he's like, is he? That sounds like he's threatening to kill Flacco, to be honest with you. When you're back against the wall, that's when you let, they keep putting dirt on my name. They put that's when I'm going to kill you. Is that what he's saying, bro? The RICO's actually going to be crazy, okay? So the whole song doesn't fully address, I don't think it really hits the narrative the way he wanted to. And look, I'm just giving you all the deep dive facts, but Draco, no, not Draco, sorry, but Flacco, all right, he really dogged YG in this video. He dogged YG from this video, okay? And so, you know, he basically saying that YG is using this song to snitch on other people and to deflect from himself. And I can't lie, this song, it reminds me, you know, you ever see in like police interrogation footage where somebody's committed a crime and they go in and they think, you know, remember how Young Thug thought he could spin the police? This is like I'm trying to spin the police and the YouTubers, all right? All that talking on that fucking app. I mean, that app is Apple Music right now. That app is Spotify right now because YG doing all that talking on that app. Okay. But anyway, Flacco basically calling him a snitch, which is crazy. I wouldn't go that far, but like,
RJ. RJ is from Athens Park Blood. The man who allegedly stabbed and killed Draco the Ruler, Frankenstone, he's from BPS, Baldwin Village. Now, the Baldwin Village and the Athens Park, according to Street TV, became allies in 1980. So there's a long history between the two. So YG is saying, hold on, bro. Like, y'all looking at me when his biggest op was on the lineup before I got there. That's dry snitching, YG, and that ain't cool. Now, again, there is no proof that RJ had anything to do with this, okay? There's no proof that RJ had anything to do with this. But YG is pointing in the direction of other people. Hey, yo, RJ was there before I got there. How can y'all say it's on me? He was beefing with another rapper. But that's another story for another chapter. That's dry snitching, and that ain't boo. And you know that ain't boo. And RJ, if you see this, don't get mad at me, bro. You know what YG did ain't boo, bro. Right? Right? Y'all gonna be politicking. Y'all gonna be, you feeling like politicking and mincing words because he's YG. But you know what YG did on this record ain't boo. You know pointing fingers at other people ain't boo.
Funny characteristic.
Whoa, let's not do all that. Look, I'm going to wrap it up there, okay? But look, if you watch this to the end, you've really dug deep, right? You've made it to the other side. You really know what's going on out here, okay? Draco was bragging about shooting YG in 2015. YG had friends that had been killed related to what Draco was doing. If we know the truth means what we think it means that Draco either called the hit or did the hit himself. He beat it, he got away with it, and then he kept on digging, and then he got on a song with Drake and dissed YG, right, in a metaphor, making it sound like he was talking to a woman, but really he was dissing YG. YG said, the homie's gonna get you. They said, we're gonna get you. My people are going to kill you. And then Draco winds up dead, surrounded by a bunch of bloods, and people are wearing YG's merch. And Flacco's exposing it, and now YG's popping out dissing Flacco, saying that he's going to shoot him and saying his back's against the wall. That's when my pistol gets to busting, and this is all dry snitching, and you should look into somebody else. And just, it's crazy because I feel like they took Flacco talking about this Frankenstone guy did the murder, and he's going to get arrested soon. Could be a YG RICO. I really don't know, okay? But this story gets way deeper than you could have ever possibly imagined. I've given you all the info in this video. Can't say that I don't do my research, okay? So, look, you guys tell me what you think of this, all right? I dread reading the comments, but look, is what it is. I'm going to leave it there, okay? No disrespect to YG. I like his music. I like his history. Love Draco. Even Kendrick Lamar out here disrespecting Drakeo, getting his ops on songs and stealing his flow and never giving him credit. It's actually crazy. This goes to the very top, and even Drake's involved getting dissed. I'm going to leave it there. I'll do some more research in this tomorrow. But yeah, this shit's wild. I'll catch you guys in the next video. I'm out for now. Peace.